Hello, everybody. I'm Graham Nolan, and I've got a few things in my mind I want to talk about today. A lot of action on Twitter about shadow banning. It appears that myself and many of my Comicsgate colleagues are being targeted on Indiegogo. We're having codes put into our campaigns that prevents people from searching and discovering our campaigns or our projects either via Indiegogo itself or through Google search. So the question becomes, are we being shadow banned? Well, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But I do know there's some funny stuff going on. Those codes don't just pop up by themselves. Okay. It's no reason to panic. I mean, if you're a creator, the projects are still there, and they'll continue to be there, and we will continue to post the links that will get you directly to them. The only place it becomes a problem is if you run into somebody and say, "Oh, yeah, I've got this campaign running. Just do a Google search, or search my name on Indiegogo." Well, you do that, and it'll show up my previous campaigns, the ended campaigns, but it won't show the current one, which is the Ghost of Matacumba Key. And this is the same for many of my colleagues. Every day, there's been a chain of events that have taken us off. It was only 2 days ago that I was trending in the top 5 in comics. If you went to the Indiegogo page and you went to explore their comic section, I was in the top 3 or top 5 just a few days ago. Now, I'm nowhere to be found. And this is the same for Aaron and for Andy. I did a search for Ethan today, and his live campaigns are no longer searchable. So it brings up the question, who, what, when, where, why, motive, opportunity, those type of things. I suspect, well, originally, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Let me just say that first off. My first thoughts were glitch. Stuff happens with computers and programs and codes. Because there was an issue just a few days ago, or last week, I should say, where people were backing campaigns, but they weren't getting their receipts. And then they resolved that issue, and all of a sudden, everybody got their receipts, and problem solved, no problem. That happens. I get that. The problem here is the radio silence. There's nobody to talk to. We had a dedicated individual at one point, and they have just recently gone to a team, and the email to the team is the only way to contact anybody. I've done searches for phone numbers to see if there's anybody I can contact at Indiegogo to remove these codes so that we're searchable again, and they just aren't. The main problem for me is that the radio silence. Nobody is addressing this issue. There's nothing coming out of them, and a bunch of us have reached out numerous times. Hey, here's one of my pals, Mr. Kelsey Shannon is here. Hello, Kelsey.
Hey, what's happening?
Hey.
Yeah, I saw you were going on with this, and didn't want you to be alone. Need some support, some backup.
No. Well, the message I'm trying to get across here to backers and to our fellow creators is that we don't need to panic. This is not a panic situation. The campaigns are there, and they'll remain there. And your when you back it, the fulfillment is still ours. Everything is going to happen the way it was. The problem is that I suspect that there's been an infiltration somewhere in this team, somebody has to go in there and do this, and we are being targeted. So this is an ideological thing.
Hmm.
And until they prove it otherwise, and until they reach out to us,
Right.
which they have not done. I was just saying just before you came on, Kelsey, is that's the problem. There's radio silence. We're not
Yeah,
getting answers from anybody.
that's really the biggest problem. It would be so, and I listened to Zach's video this morning, and I don't necessarily agree, but he did have some good points in that there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in tech right now, and there's a lot of layoffs, and it's probably a big scramble. But why is it only these books, and why is it books that were currently out and now are not searchable? That's an active change in what was going on previously just a couple of days ago. So the evidence is all pointing in this one direction, so
Right.
it's like,
And
Occam's
it's a
razor and
domino
all that.
effect. It's like first it was Shane,
Mm.
then I forget who was next in line, and each day one or more people. Like yesterday, it was Andy, Aaron, and me. That we all of a sudden, and as I had said just a few minutes ago, I was trending. I was like, my project was like number 3 or number 5 in comics just a few days ago, and now it's unsearchable. My campaign has no nudity. It has no violence on it, on the campaign. There's no swear words. There's nothing in there that would trigger anything that the platform would be concerned about.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing could be said for most of these campaigns.
Well, Bright brings up a good point, and it's something that he says you're behaving like battered housewives when we all know what happened is cringe. It's like, yeah, I don't think we're coming at it from this direction. We're coming at it pretty pragmatically. It's like, let's just see if this is just a problem. And I'm sure everybody's tired of hearing about it already because it's like, oh no, more of this talk. So believe me, we're trying to tread carefully on this in a way that doesn't upset the apple cart, but also just kind of figure out what's wrong and move forward. If there is something going on, we'll just figure something else out. It's not going to stop anything.
Exactly, and that's what we do.
Just makes it inconvenient.
If you put something in our way, we'll either go over it, go under it, go around it, or move it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we as independents roll. It's just, as you said, inconvenience, and it's an inconvenience for our backers. It creates a trust issue, and you really shouldn't worry about that. That's not going to be an issue.
Hell, we'll go to like old school grassroots mail order service like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles started off as. I kind of like that idea.
Well, we could set up stores on our websites or eBay pages, and then accept PayPal, which you can't use on Indiegogo.
Yeah. Oh,
a lot of people wish they could use PayPal.
Mm-hmm.
So there are ways around it, but right now we're still in an evidence gathering mode, and we're trying to figure out what's going on. I think that company is understaffed, as you had said. These tech companies are aren't exactly rolling right now in Biden's America, and so who knows? But we do know this, that if it isn't a tech issue, it's deliberate. There's no two ways about that.
Yeah.
And so let's find out how, and the only way we're going to find this out is if somebody reaches out to us, and we're just going to keep going at them until we have to decide, well, we're moving on elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm seeing in the chat here, Tug's web guy saying that umbrella guy, for anybody that doesn't know, they're working on a platform themselves. If I'm getting that right. So that's cool. That he's not the only one. There's a lot of people working on stuff behind the scenes. So
Backer Kit's working on I think they have a beta program right now. Kickstarter has cleaned up. Hey, Randy Howell, thank you for that $2 Canadian super chat. Started 3 weeks ago. Frog G, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this has been going on, and as I said, like a domino effect now for 3 weeks.
Well, if I remember right, it kind of started with Krishna Kid, Kami Mark's book, because that was being shadow banned, and of course, we all thought could deal with religious stuff. His name is Kami Mark. I mean, there's a lot of red flags in there that it could have been. So I don't know.
Right.
But then it just kept
and
going.
He had some images on there that were questionable as well, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know. And then it just kind of kept going. So, Randy Howell says Krishna Kid is visible now. So,
okay. Indiegogo isn't responding to creators or customers despite weeks of complaint at this point. That's concerning. No doubt about it.
Yeah, it's probably me because I said that I was going to finally do my own book, and I knew the world was going to collapse before that happened. So it's probably me. Sorry, I'll go back. I'll work for Graham again. We'll go back to the way it was.
Well, you know what? I think it is this tectonic shift because you came out from the swamp again.
And it tilted everything over.
And the world couldn't handle it, Kelsey's back.
Yeah. Too much to handle. Oh my God. Best thing to do is that we can approach this with good humor and put the positive vibes out there. Let the universe do what it will. I have faith that we're doing God's work as it was, as they say. So good will overcome. That's always my philosophy.
Right. I mean, the main platform at one time was Kickstarter, and they had their issues with us, and we moved on, went to a different platform, and and they have since gotten rid of all those SJWs on their platform, and it looks like maybe they got hired over here. If that's the case, we'll just find another platform,
Yeah,
it's as simple as that. It's just as you said, it's a bit of a hassle.
So Jasper Plan 9 also has an interesting comment. He says, right now, I agree with Ethan. We need to double down and hold strong on Indiegogo. If they want us to leave, they will need to say it and hurt the integrity of their platform. That's a very good point, actually. Because if they're willing to say, look, we don't want you, then it is a clear bias. But right now, they're just playing shenanigans, and it's kind of hard to tell. So, yeah, I mean, there's nothing really can do is just kind of roll with the punches right now, and just as a group, just help get the word out on all these other books, that are being shadow banned or whatever it is, but that's not much different than what we're already doing. We need to help keep getting the word out for everybody,
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know that I have never been one that is I'm not loyal to a platform. I'm loyal to my backers.
Yes.
And if the platform starts to leave us behind, then I'm going to take my backers and we're going to go someplace else with a better playground. It's as simple as that, At one point they were great, and if there's a sea change in management and they're no longer great, then I'm not going to hold any allegiance to them and stay there. We're all mobile. We're all movable. As long as we have a safe, secure platform in which to conduct business, then it doesn't matter.
Bad news all around. Santiago Pelagros says, Graham, not sure if you know, but my countryman Carlos Pacheco passed away today because of ALS.
I did hear that. That was very sad. What a talented artist.
Man, I was obsessed with him during the X-Men days back in the day. I loved it with Art Thibert inking him.
Yeah.
Amazing. Sorry, I don't mean to throw it off track, but that was definitely on my mind this morning. Old Carlos, R.I.P., man. Godspeed.
Yeah. Death Metal Hero says, damn right, Graham, that's exactly the attitude to have. We're not tied down to any specific platform. We build our audiences and we move with them. Yeah. That's my particular philosophy.
Yeah.
I don't know if other guys in CG agree with that. I don't, I don't know that, but by sticking with IGG is the strongest message.
A lot of people are saying diversify. There's already people doing like Tucci doing Kickstarter and Indiegogo and probably others. I'm sure he's a real thorough type, so I'm sure he's hitting a lot. As much as you can. It does increase the work, because you're basically fulfilling more than one campaign. But it'd be great if there was like how there's like one thing where if you post it, it goes out to all your social media. It's like that would be awesome if there was like a one-stop shop for like social crowdfunding, but that might get really complicated too. But hey, if there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah. Well, the problem with that might be like if you're going to target it, bam, you hit it, and then everything goes down.
Bancroft brings up a great point I brought up earlier too. Be everywhere, be undeniable. I said be pervasive, like a disease. Just anywhere you look, there's somebody's book. That's the way to do it.
Ray Haylock, Tugs Web Guy says IGG charges 5%. Ours will only be 2%. I like you already.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so it's 5%. Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Yeah, it is. Plus credit card fees, I believe. Rob Younce says, Graham Nolan, we will follow. Excellent. Lee says, yes, at the first chance, I will cease to spend with IGG. Yeah, somebody had mentioned that, until this thing happens, he's no longer going to back anybody on IGG. And I think that's you're throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
Because you're not hurting anybody but the creator that you want to back.
Right.
And so I don't think that's the attitude to take, follow the creator, follow that person whose work you like, no matter where they go.
I think a better way to maybe combat that as someone that's interested in supporting these books is to help get the word out. It's like, okay, well, Google's not doing it, but the active link will direct you directly to that. So a really good way is to maybe get that link out there, really support these books, and instead of just trusting that it's going to be seen on Indiegogo, go the opposite way.
Well, Ethan had a really great point the other night that when you look at the marketing that they do for you, it really is very minuscule. The amount of backers you get. We on Comicsgate, on the Kings, on Professionals, and on all these other shows that we go on, we reach more people directly that way with the direct links than when Indiegogo puts our campaign in an email blast to somebody, Yeah,
right. Yeah, Randy Howell's like, or no, it's not Randy. Who was it? It already passed by. KCC. I just don't understand the mentality of paying a platform to screw with you, and not be honest about it. But I mean, kind of thinking like the alternative. It's like fighting a fire on a bridge that you're standing on. It's. I mean, even putting out the fire could collapse the bridge. I don't know. That's a terrible metaphor, but
Well, the reality, Casey, here is that the mentality of paying for a platform to screw with you is we weren't paying for a platform to screw with us. They just started it.
That's true. Yeah, this is relatively new.
It's not like we had heard bad things about them or that we had bad experiences and we kept coming back. The reality is we had great experiences. My campaigns on Indiegogo have been fantastic. We had originally a contact person that dealt with us directly, and they've gone to a team now. So we don't have that one-on-one anymore. So that's the change, not us. And so, now we all have to make decisions about, what we're going to do. Some of our campaigns are still live, and they're going to be in demand for a while because, we've got to fulfill them. So
And this is also not like a whining fest either. It's really just a means to, or transparency. You know, we're just trying to be
right.
like as open as possible about what's going on, what we're going to do about it, what we're talking about, you know, and just
Hmm.
seeing what
Right.
you guys think about this too. You know, that matters.
Right. Michael Bancroft says, I don't support a boycott at this stage. Agreed. Boycott is not going to help anybody. You know, again, we're still in the beginning stages of figuring things out. And you know, don't boycott the creators and don't boycott IGG at this point. Although I'm assuming most people here are not using IGG to, you know, get the latest, you know, electric bicycle. You know, they're
Yeah.
here for comics. You know.
This is interesting. Marcus Killigrew says he uses Safari and can still see the campaign. Like it's only Google. I'm using what's Google's search engine or browser? Chrome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chrome. What did he say? He's using Chrome and he can
No,
see stuff.
he's using Safari and can still see it.
Oh, really?
Which I have Safari. I could check that.
I tried
I'll
using
take his word for
Safari
it.
on my phone and it didn't work.
Let's see. I'm gonna open it up right now. Because that could be somebody did that earlier. I think Eric he's like, oh, I can see but it was all the closed campaigns. I'm like, yeah,
Yes.
just the new ones that are
Yeah, the closed campaigns are up there.
Which is Ghosts being shadow banned? Ghosts of
Yeah. It has that code on it.
How do you spell that?
What Matacumba?
Yeah, how do you spell that? Matacumba.
Yeah, MATECUMBE.
See what comes up. Goes to Matacumbo Key, Indiegogo's first one. That's interesting.
That's on Safari?
Yeah. Wow.
Okay. Well, you know what? That's
interesting.
very interesting because
yeah.
What is that telling us?
I don't know.
Is this
well? Because Google, it's the same. Let me see if it's using Google to search. I'm pretty sure. Let me actually go to Google from Safari and try it there.
Yeah, I think you can. Well, Past Master Dan is always thumbs up, and he reminds us all to hit that like button, please.
No. So when I go to Google, type in the same thing, it doesn't come up, which means Safari is using something other than Google, or at least I have it pointed to another search engine. So it's Google that it's having an issue with. I get Treasure of Matacumbo, 1976 movie.
Yep. Let's see. Who am I using here? I'm using DuckDuckGo.
Yeah,
that's who my browser is. Through Safari, and it comes right up.
Okay, so it's a Google issue, really.
Yeah. So there's something in that code that prevents Google search, as well as the Indiegogo search, but it must not affect the other. Huh? Yeah, it's very interesting. Well, we just discovered something, didn't we?
Yeah.
I'll call Freeman Thrower says, ignore my comments. They're way too inconvenient for you. Well, you can be a caustic asshole too. There could be that.
Yeah, what's he? Is he being caustic?
Yeah.
Being problematic.
Yeah. Here, I'll play fair. Here's what he said. That could be thrown back at you, though. You're hurting customers by trying to force them to support a platform they don't want to support. Guilt tripping. No. I'm not forcing anybody to do anything, dude.
Yeah.
You support who you want or what you want. Do you have an Apple computer? Do you support their slave labor with all your Apple products? How about your Nike shoes? You know, I mean, give me a fucking break, dude.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's up to you guys, but I mean, that's why we're just being out here explaining what the issue is. we'll find out. You know, in the meantime, we're not sitting on our ass. You know, we're figuring shit out, looking at alternatives.
Yeah,
You know, it'll be Indiegogo's loss if in the end they decide not to host us. It'll be their loss.
I mean, their main focus, I think, is tech. And if they, if they want to lose, I just saw something recently that since 2020, CG has raised $15 million, and from 2022, so far $5 million has been raised, and most of that CG stuff is all on Indiegogo.
Speaking of the commies, Commie Mark's showing up here. He's like, it's getting worse. Then he says, "Hail, hail spam, hail the bots,
hail the bots."
Yeah, believe me. I mean, this group is made up of pure alphas, man. This group ain't gonna take this lying down. It's just that you got to be pragmatic about these things and approach them systematically and effectively. And what do you call it? You can't fix the house without finding what's wrong with it. You know what I mean? Or your car. You got to determine the problem first.
And I think it's important to talk about this. I was hoping more folks would from our groups and stuff would come in here to discuss it. Yeah, I was hoping more of those pussies would come in here.
Yeah.
We know the real men, right, Kelsey?
Yeah. The bearded ones.
It's important to discuss it and air it and not shove it under. I know my backers are not weak knees, and that they're not going to just start to boycott our projects and stuff because of what's happening here. I'm quite sure that they are going to, stay true and follow us to the next platform if we go to a next platform, or and at least until we work off the problems that are going on in this one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. We'll find out. I certainly I'm with the chat, that gentleman in particular, because my initial instinct is to what do they call it? Scorch the earth. I just want to go nuts and start punching shit. But what are you going to do? Punch the air? I mean, you got to, I mean, this is a business. You got to approach it with a little more caution and thought,
Tobias, the indigenous Ginger Patrick. I am boycotting IGG over this shadow banning BS. I will still support the creators, but not if they are on IGG at this time. Can't send a message to IGG if we're still willing to give them our money. Okay, well, you know what? That's your choice.
I mean, that is kind of at the root of some of the stuff we were dealing with early on. So I understand that point of view for sure. And when the time comes, if it comes, I'm sure we'll all be right there with you. So you got to make your own decision as a backer, a supporter,
right?
It's up to you guys.
You can't get behind the platform, regardless of the creator that you're backing. Understood. We all draw lines in the sand. For me, when Nike, I bought Nike shoes since the early 1980s, and then when they came out with all that woke crap with Kaepernick and the kneeling and not standing and pledging for the flag and stuff like that, I said, that's it. I'm not going to support that company. And I haven't bought a Nike product since. Okay. That's my choice. I'm not going to tell other people not to buy Nike products.
Right. But so you understand the point of view. So I don't think that at least that one gentleman probably doesn't understand that you understand where he's coming from. But, on the flip side of this, it's like, okay, where do we go? And it's really hard to, I think Malin told me once when I just shut down my Twitter one day and he called me up. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just tired of all this Twitter trash. And he's like, no. This is like a giant ship with inertia that's moving in the ocean. And you can't just stop it. You got to slow it down and then change direction. And it was a really good metaphor. I don't know if that fits for here, but it seems like kind of apropos in that, just stopping it cold might sink the ship. So, it's just trying to be more systematic, I guess. I don't know the words.
The ghost doesn't show up with his Samsung Galaxy web browser either, so not just Chrome. Okay.
Well, just know that things are being done.
Mm-hmm.
There's not complacency going on.
No,
Here. There's,
we're all reaching out to in ways that we know how. I was stewing this afternoon, which is why I wanted to do this, because I wanted to discuss it and kind of get it out there that we are upset and we're trying to get to the bottom of it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I thought I might be rubbing people the wrong way in the back room. I'm like, no. I'm kind of just playing devil's advocate, because like all these thoughts pop into my head when somebody says something. Thoughts pop in. I'm like, well, what about this? So yeah, it's it's being discussed. Just I don't know. I'm not the best at this. I'm good at kind of seeing, the emotion of it. Like I understand not wanting to support, and I also understand Graham's side where he's like, support the creator and not the site. If it's something you like, if it's a book you want, get it. But if you feel strongly about this Indiegogo thing, you got to do what your soul tells you to do. I mean, you live your own life, but we would hope that you would support us until we can figure out another direction. We're all going to be trying to get the word out on these books until something can be done.
Right. You know what? And if you guys could share out direct links when we post them, that way people can get to the books. That would be greatly helpful too. But this is not a whole lot different than trying to deal with Facebook and trying to put your projects out there on Facebook. Their algorithms have gotten so aggressive that the same 20 people, you have 5,000 friends on Facebook, and the same 20 people will see it if you attach a link, because they don't want you leaving. So, what do we do about that? Well, you try to work around it. You can direct message people. That avoids the algorithm. Very labor intensive, but you can do it. You're limited to like 50 a day. Another way is attach a QR code to an image, which is what I've been doing. I don't post the link on Facebook. I just post the image with the QR code, and then somebody can take their phone and go boop, and it'll take them right to the site. So, these are ways we're trying to get around these tech companies and their nonsense.
Yeah. Man, I had something. I've totally forgot what it was. I'm reading the chat. Bancroft is he's like, I don't want to be put in smaller and smaller places, and yeah, I can agree with that, but I don't know, man. Gosh, boy, chat
says I need more wrenches.
Gosh, I can't keep up with the chat.
Oh, I know, they're busy.
Yeah, I'm so glad. You guys have great opinions about this. No matter what your opinion, it's just great to see you involved. I mean, yeah.
The lack of communication from IGG really highlights the importance of exploring different routes. What is your opinion on Gumroad or Patreon? I don't know about Gumroad. It's the first I'm reading is right now. Patreon, I've heard about that. I know some people that use it. I don't know how successful it is. That it's sort of a different animal, to be honest with you, than what we're doing here.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Bancroft, some people won't give money to IGG, so we should offer them an alternative. At the same time, most people won't have a problem with backing on IG or other platforms. We should facilitate. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? It's about diversification. Let's not put all our eggs in one basket. I think it might have been you, Kelsey, that mentioned Billy he does multiple campaigns. He does one on Kickstarter and he does one here on IGG. It's a lot of work, but there are like BackerKit to help merge those things together and help you with fulfillment after it. And in fact, BackerKit is working on a platform of their own, which would be something to explore as well. Another option.
See, Lieb actually brings that up. He says, just build alternatives like Mandy Summers and Eric slowly move business away from these corrupt companies. But Mandy merely made I think she was still going through Indiegogo. She made a port, so that it was hosted on her site, but it still went through Indiegogo. And Eric is a special case because he developed such a huge audience beforehand on a whole other kind of thing, and just directed them. They kind of would, no matter where he put that, it would have done well. So,
it also cost Eric $250,000 that he had to pony up. So, not everybody has $250,000 to get your machine working.
Hey, Phil.
Vero Freddy, thank you for that $2 super chat. Wasn't Ethan working on a site?
Yeah, I think so. Also,
hey, Phil.
I've heard other people also, and I've been saying that from day one, but it is a lot of work. It's programming, it's permissions, it's all. It's money. Mm-hmm. We should crowdfund a crowdfund site. Let's go to Indiegogo and crowdfund a new crowdfunding site. See how well that goes over.
I agree with Kelsey. You can't stop things midstream, but you need to look to other alternatives now, so you can make a switch when the time comes. Yeah, I haven't disagreed with that. I just got done saying that we need to explore other options, but that doesn't mean if one is still being profitable or still working to a certain degree that you got to get rid of it entirely. You need a lifeboat. The more lifeboats you have, the better you're going to be.
Yeah, 40% said it's been 4+ years. This should have been started years ago, probably with that's some of us have been saying that kind of stuff for a long, long time. But there was also loyalty issues. There's just it's interesting navigating some of this stuff, and it's weird. It takes you off guard when suddenly things change. I hate change.
It does, yeah. We all hate change. But again, my loyalty is to my backers and not
exactly.
It's going to be to the platform that best facilitates the product to the backers and the experience of the backers using that platform. If Indiegogo demonstrates an issue like they did last week, there was a problem. People were backing stuff and they weren't getting receipts. And they rebacked it. And then when they finally got their receipts, they realized they paid for it twice. So it had to be refunded. Indiegogo took care of that. They fixed that. Okay, good on them. That's great. And I'm hoping they'll fix on this. But if they don't, then we got to start looking for other options and.
Well, I see people saying CG needs a legit crowdfunding site. Ethan brought up an interesting point on his show last night that he would rather not have everyone in one target, basically. So that leads more argument towards being everywhere, being in more than one place so that there's not the eggs in one basket thing. So I can agree with that, actually. And I think we should do everything and the other thing,
Yeah,
it's going to take more work, and I do think it's maybe not the one site that has links to everything. I have many of them, but we're talking 4+ years. And the way time works for me, we just started, so.
Oh yeah.
We're still working out the kinks in the overall master plan. So.
Well, yeah. Think about it like this: if you want to use a comic analogy, Marvel Comics was distributed in the 1960s by DC Comics. So sometimes you have to you have to work with the facilitators that are in place at that time. And then as you grow out of it, and you create a better direction for yourself. Um, and I think that's where we're at. Right now we're utilizing some of the things that are pre-built already, and that eventually we're going to do our own thing. As more and more of us get successful doing this stuff, we can pool our resources and get our actual own platform, our own servers, and I see that down the road for the future.
Like my personal plan, I mean, before this kind of stuff happened, I was going to come into, I was here from the start almost. I mean, shortly after Zach started, he came into my sphere. I think the letterer I was using threatened to like attack him at a convention or something. That's how I got to know all this. And then I came in and then started working with him on the first Jawbreakers. And I'm like, I'm just going to kind of let people know that I'm not going anywhere and just hang out, help other people, work, be a part of the community. And then I was going to transition into doing my own book, which I'm a slow mover. It took a lot longer to get here. And then the first book I'm doing, I was actually going to ask Ethan if he would, if I could publish with him. And then he asked me, and it was like, oh, it's perfect because I could use some help. I'm not ready to tackle that, but I wanted to go from there to trying to do it on my own, learning how to either hire a company to do the fulfillment, or even on my first one, fulfill it myself, just so, I don't know. It's almost like a rite of passage in a weird way. I think you should maybe be a little hands-on. It's almost like learning how to do each aspect of a comic book.
Sure.
So that was my path. I was like, and then eventually leading into something like my own site where I've developed trust, and then people will come, word of mouth come, and there'll be like a one-stop kind of shop for Kelsey, and that's still kind of the plan. So, I mean, no matter what obstacles come up, there's still kind of that overall like path, I'm going to get there, barring nuclear war or something, provided that doesn't happen. I'm still aiming for the same goal, be self-sufficient, making comic books.
Bureau Frady, thank you again for that $2 super chat. Maybe work with Mel the Bancroft.
Do what was that?
Mel the Bancroft?
Oh, Mel the Bancroft. Oh, like Mel Gibson.
Oh, is that what that? Oh, okay, because he's Australian.
Yeah, but Mel's not Australian, is he? He just lived there.
Well, that's
I
true.
love me some Bancroft.
He was actually born in New Jersey, I believe.
Oh yeah, see, there you go. I heard that on Paul Harvey. There was like this, I think it was a fake Paul Harvey, but it was all about like this man that had no face, and like he, and turns out he got surgery, and he turned into Mel Gibson. And I was like, I don't think any of that was real, but
yeah,
sure sounded like Paul Harvey to me. So I don't know. Paul Harvey, good day. Oh yeah, Bancroft is married to Mel Gibson. Oh, okay.
Evil One says, I joined IGG for CG and joined CG because I'm friends with Billy Tucci. I regret joining IGG and will be focusing on saving my money after these midterms and just go back to backing my friends on Kickstarter.
But doesn't Kickstarter have the same issue?
No, Kickstarter did, but they fired the woman that was in charge, who I think is now at Zoop, and she was the one that was gatekeeping over there.
Well, we just did at Allegiance. We did.
Hey, Art.
Hey, bud. We did Norris Saga on both Indiegogo and Kickstarter, and Indiegogo did way better. I mean, by a lot. And then did the same thing with Bass Reeves, and I think it did so poorly they actually pulled it from Kickstarter. So, and it wasn't doing great on Indiegogo either. But I don't know why. It's a great book. It's just word of mouth.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, it's an awesome book.
Internal politics with Allegiance brand and fans. I understand all that. So there's definitely some roadblocks there beyond just the Kickstarter thing. But yeah, I mean, of course, I don't know. We don't actively push Kickstarter as much as we do Indiegogo. So that's, I don't know, worth a shot.
I did a double platform last time with Giant Size Two-Fisted Manly Tails. And I did much better on Indiegogo than I did on Kickstarter. But that could be because I don't have a Kickstarter audience. You know, like Billy started on Kickstarter and he built a big audience over there. So when he goes over there, you know, he's got those email lists and stuff. And you know, maybe that's why. Maybe I need to do more projects there.
Mark Pinker says, just waiting until Norse Saga ships before I back Bass Reads. Okay, great to know. I just got I wonder if you can see these on here. I'll get them off my phone and post them on Twitter, but they just sent me photos of the hardcover, the cards, the book, all for Norse Saga, and I'm headed up there in first week of December to do all the head sketches, and I also have a date with Kelsey. That's got to be like arranged for the gentleman that bought into that. And we'll have some fun with that. It's just an hour, like live stream. We can hang out and talk, whether he wants it live or not. I don't know. It's up to him. But we'll just have some fun with it. But and then it's being shipped, I think, shortly after that. So it's coming. It's coming.
Art is agreeing with us that he's been thinking more about Kickstarter these days. I still like IGG, but perhaps putting all my eggs in one basket isn't a good idea. Yep, that's pretty much what I've been saying.
Yeah, it's kind of like we're kind of with all of you guys. You know, we agree. We don't agree. We agree. All these questions that you're coming up with are kind of all going through our heads, and we're talking to each other, talking to other people, sending letters out. I mean, this is an active thing, so don't worry, we're working on it. But you know, don't lose hope. The books are still getting made. Stuff is still happening. I'm still seeing like super exciting stuff going on. I know Bancroft is finishing up his like 90 something page book. He's like 80 pages into it, and he's going to be doing that soon. That looks amazing. I mean, there's so much good stuff. It would be a shame, you know, just to have some political nonsense get in the way of someone enjoying some great stuff. But you know, one of those weird things where like I agree, you know, I'm hesitant to do that as well. They start pulling shenanigans, you start wondering what they're doing otherwise. You know, are they keeping track of people that are buying these books? Put them on a list, maybe? I mean, I don't know, but who knows? We don't know.
Yeah. Again, you know, you never want to go down that rabbit hole of a conspiracy thing, you know, where you.
That's my thing.
Oh, okay. Well, then
I love conspiracy. It's good story fodder. Yeah, but I take everything with a grain of salt, as Doomcock says.
Hail Graham, hail Kelsey, haul the chat, and cow pies to all. Well, okay, we got a cow pie. Yeah. Hit that like button, folks, and subscribe to the channel if you get a chance. It's free. And we spoke about algorithms. This kind of stuff helps it.
Oh, Alcoholic Semen Thrower says, just kidding, Graham. I could take it. Don't think I actually offended. No, not at all. I mean, this is guy talk, man. If Graham's going to lay into you, my family motto is go to Fist City, go to lunch, man. We start a fight, and then we're all like friends again. So that's the man law, man. Unless you start getting like serious in your talk, you know, we'll take it to the next level. But until then, it's just talk.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd rather you speak the truth and honestly from your soul than hide it. You know, that's how we know what's going on, is people being honest.
He also says Graham called a customer a caustic asshole.
Yeah, Graham don't take no shit.
Yeah. I call it as I see it, caustic. I mean, alcoholic Semen Thrower.
Yeah. Man, it's real easy to get all caught up in the emotion of this stuff. So I mean, it's just, that's kind of part of taking it slow and like making sure we don't burn that bridge before we get off of it.
Right. What works for some doesn't work for others. Brian Pulido didn't do as well on IGG. on
Mm,
Kickstarter because the audience wasn't there. Find your audience and build it wherever. Good point.
interesting. Yeah.
Good point. Yeah, that
Mm.
guy's he's a king. That guy,
Yeah, I love that
Frank
guy.
Alito. Yeah.
He was so nice to me. At the height of his popularity, we were just coming in. This is back when old Stephen Hughes was still alive, and they had this like raucous booth with like lights flashing and smoke machines and rock and roll playing, and it was like crazy. But then they went to each table and spent time with every creator, and they came to us, and Stephen Hughes looked at my artwork. He gave me pointers. They were just the nicest people, and I'll never forget it. So
That's awesome.
yeah, he is a king. Yeah, man, I think I'm hungry. I might have to go eat.
Yeah. Well, we just got through all the comments here, and folks, I just want to thank you for coming in, spending the afternoon here with us. I thought it was important just to kind of air some of this stuff out here because there's a lot going on Twitter, and my phone was just buzzing constantly in some of our green room stuff. So I just felt it was necessary to kind of like smooth the waters a little bit, let you know that we're on it, and we'll do the right things here. And thanks again for coming in and supporting us. Of course, tonight I got two shows. I've got the Storytellers with Anthony Gonzalez Clark. If you don't know his work, he's an incredible artist. He's co-creator with Chuck Dixon on My Sister Suprema.
Oh,
And his stuff, you're going to love his work, Kelsey, if you don't know his stuff. Very animated. And when I say animated, I don't you could make them into cartoons too, but when I say animated, he pushes those drawings, he pushes those emotions in the body language and in the faces, much like you do.
I love that stuff. Yeah.
It's really, really great stuff. So he's going to be on the Storytellers tonight, and then at 8:00,
Awesome.
my fellow Spin Rack team is going to be on. We're going to do a Q&A about everything you ever wanted to know about the future of comics, Web3, gamification, all that kind of stuff, all that high-tech stuff that's coming down the road that Chuck and I can't answer. There'll be people there to answer all those questions, and that'll be tonight at 8:00.
I'm going to be hanging out with WizJizz Entertainment tonight at like 9:30. WYZ.
I think it's Wise Guys.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. WizJizz. Jesus, Kelsey.
I was like, WizJizz. Is this an inside joke? You never can
that's
tell.
Funny.
Wise
That's
Guys.
hysterical.
Oh my God, I feel bad. We'll have to try that on the show. Hey, WizJizz. I'm so glad to be on WizJizz. Hey, wait, he's here. Wise Guys. Hey, WizJizz.
Oh, and here he is. WizJizz himself, entertainment. Oh, that's hysterical.
Yes. Come say hey. I'll be hanging out there for a little bit.
You have just rebranded that poor guy.
No, I'm sorry. Hey, if it brings up some heat, I'm glad to.
That's it. That's it. Well, again, everybody, thanks a lot, and we'll see you again later tonight. Have a great afternoon.
Later,
Bye-bye.